showing up. I am going to talk a little bit before we leave here about what's going on with the economy and some people who are like the elitists of Star Citizen who don't want their ships that they've paid like hundreds and thousands of dollars for to be like in-game worth a particular amount. They want to jack up the prices because they paid this price and they thought that they were just buying the ship and that's all, but it was a pledge. So now what is interesting is that people want the ships, like I'm seeing in forums all over the place, that people want the ship's prices jacked up so high that nobody really can get it because they spent $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,400 for a digital spaceship. And people are saying to themselves, well, I spent all this money, so nobody else should really be able to get this unless they put years of time into actually, into actually getting the creds in game in order to get this. This should be a rare thing. This should be like I keep hearing like this should be like a Ferrari and all this shit, right? But that's not the argument. The argument should be this. Maybe I won't be able to own the Ferrari. Maybe it won't be like an easy thing to aspire to get those particular ships that you paid $1,000 or $1,400 to. But I do happen to remember that Chris made a promise and said that the ships in game would be able to be bought with credits. That happened. That was there. And right now what's happening is they have priced it so that the AI and the NPC and the way that they're handling the economy is that you're not able actually to realistically go in the game as a new player, somebody who has not used cash, when the game releases and you want to get a ship, you're really solo going to have a hell of a hard time to do it. You might be able to rent it or lease it or whatever the options that they're going to, so that you can get a taste of it. But as far as owning it, it's going to be very difficult to do. And that's something that needs to be talked about because we're talking about valuation. We're talking about the ability to make pricing fair. And the only real way to do that is not with artificial intelligence. It's not with NPC. It's not with the current structure that they've got planned for the economy, guys. It's the ability to have player controlled pricing. It's the ability for industrial players to play the game in order for us to set fair market pricing. There's going to be manipulation. There always is in every market. But supply and demand mechanics based upon player-driven economies will flush out all the exploitations and the manipulations because it's business. It's capitalism. And I think people need to understand that. I think people need to get that. And I hope you guys are taking part in this discussion. It is very important. Talk about buying UC and how the ship prices are so high that it makes the value of an Aurora 220. I think everybody knows that right now, Bob. Right now, people bought UEC for a particular price. I can't remember what it is. I think it's, what is it? $1 per every 1,000 credits. I'm not quite sure what the math is, Bob. But when you do the math and you figure in what these ships are worth in UEC, right? As opposed to what it actually costs to buy the UEC, the ship prices are hugely, hugely inflated. And it's a very difficult thing for people that bought the UEC because they're saying to themselves, why is this not relative to the price of the actual UEC? It's because nobody cares, right? And that's the craziest thing. Nobody's talking about it. And people need to start talking about it. Bob's absolutely right. People need to start talking about these things. There needs to be checks and balances within the game. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about industrial players, and they like to play this way. Some people say, oh my God, this is way too nitty gritty. And why would you want to work when you're playing a game? People like to play the game this way, man. There's a lot of people that play industrial characters that have a good time, that for them, blowing up a ship for a PvP player, and an analogy is winning a territory and winning a market, or owning particular resources where you have the best price and you're getting the best profit that you can, and that other players are going to come in, and you've got to battle those grounds to get the best pricing possible. Games like SWG, games like EVE, X3, these types of games that have these types of economies are very successful and have stood the test of time for a long time because industrial players are a very integral part of a community, of a gaming community. And you can't just be an elitist and say that you want to jack up pricing on a ship and then expect the industrial base to just sit there and take it and be like, you know what, that's fine. I guess I'm just never going to have this ship. It's about being able to have the freedom and the ability to make those ships, to actually be able to price these ships, to have some type of effect on the value of the items, of the very items. Because if you don't, you're just a slave to the system, and you're going to A to B fetch quests all day long, just like Elite Dangerous. You're going to have an Elite Dangerous freaking economy. And if that's what these people want, I'm telling you what, these are the loudest people. So the industrialists that don't want it that way should speak up now, because there's a lot of people in line in front of the industrialists, telling industrialists, your point doesn't matter. Nothing about what you're saying matters. They tell me that all the time. They say that to me all the time, right? I'm the only one kind of voicing up about this, and a couple others in the community are as well. But I think what you guys need to start doing is you guys need to fight it. You guys need to start fighting it and push it back in their faces, because they used an argument a long time ago, the Star Citizen elitists, that, oh my God, you know, these ships are pledges. They're pledges, right? They're pledges. You know, you're pledging to the game. But now they're using the argument in reverse, and they're saying, well, I bought these ships. These ships should be very hard to get in the game because I spent $300. No, you didn't spend $300. You pledged it. And the promise is that we were able to get ships in the game with credits. Okay? All right. I think I've said my piece on it. I think I've been fairly accurate up to this point. And I think a lot of people need to start listening to this, because I'm hearing a lot of people on programs out there on public, you know, on Captain's Table, and I'm hearing people on the round table on the base and a couple other programs and Relay, and they all have this mentality like, you know, the money that they spent for these ships, oh boy, nobody else can get them. They got to be priced ultra high so nobody can get the ship that I bought. You didn't buy the ship. It was a pledge. And we should have control over valuation in a market. In a free capitalist market, we should have it. Otherwise, SIG can put in whatever price they want into the AI. And you know what? People are fine handing the keys over to SIG. And that's what blows my mind. People are handing the keys straight over to SIG, and they're like, no, yeah, that's fine. AI is great. I want the AI and NPC to price everything. I don't want to have any say on it. I think if human beings have the control over the market, oh God, it's going to be a terrible thing and everybody's going to grief me. Give me a fucking break, you pansies. That's what I'm trying to say. As an industrialist, the market's always priced fair, because somebody's always going to undercut somebody else. That's how business works. That's how economics works. Supply and demand, man. That's how it's worked since the beginning of the frickin' Bronze Age, when we started trading, man. This is the way things always happened. But the system that's currently priced in for all of you guys is a market where you don't really have an effect. I saw it on the Tony Z panel at CitizenCon. So for people that say, I don't know what I'm talking about, we watched it here. It's on the Twitch channel. I have it on a video on the Twitch channel. We watched it. We heard what he said. We heard everything he had to say. So it's important now, because it's in the frameworks, guys, to speak up as an industrialist. If you like the industrialist gameplay, if you want to have control over asset valuation as a player, and that's the type of gameplay that you guys like, you guys sure as hell better be speaking up about this shit. You better be speaking up about this shit, because there's so many people in line that are going to squash you and tell you that your opinion doesn't count, that you don't matter. And that's the way that it is. The big grand scheme of everything that I hear right now is that the industrialists don't matter. The hardcore industrialists that like to price actual items, that like to make things, that like to manufacture things, that want to have that kind of gameplay in the game, that will make the gameplay successful, that will make the game successful. Those types of elements of gameplay are very important. And if somebody's trying to tell you that those elements of gameplay aren't important, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're busy shooting ships up all day long, and trust me, I love shooting ships up. I'm pirate mode. I get it. I love it. But the reason they're in that ship should be an industrialist behind every single ship. The industrialists are the working force, and somebody's going to say, wow, man, you're going way overboard. This is just a game. Dude, the game is fun for people when they play in an industrialist manner. There is that element to it. That's all I gotta say. I think I've said it. And there it is. Thank you so much for watching this ATV review. We kind of went a little bit off the beaten path, but thank you so much. Share the games, help the games, become a patron, do things to help the channel here, to help us grow, man. So much support for the big guys that really aren't telling us these things. You see so much support for Board Gamer. You see so much support for Noobifier. And you see so much support for people that aren't actually questioning the development of the game. You know, these are the things that we need to be talking about as a community, because we're gamers. Number one, first and foremost, we're gamers. We're gamers over citizens. Trust me, Star Citizen might turn me just into a citizen, and I might just say I'm not a gamer anymore because I will be playing Star Citizen all the time. But I won't be playing Star Citizen all the time if they don't have the correct mechanics in the game, and that's why I'm voicing up. I'm voicing up for the industrialists. Thank you so much for watching. Where's that the game support, yo? Give me that to game support. We need it. We need it for this community. We need the fight. We need to get the fire behind us, and we need to shoot it out there, guys. We need to continue to beat this message out there as long as we can. And if you guys need some ammunition, grab some of my videos. Grab some of my videos and say, here's an industrialist. This is somebody who wants mechanics in the game that I want. Take that video, and if they tell you you're full of shit and they say, oh, the Gaimerz is full of shit and he doesn't know what he's talking about, then take the video and say, fuck you. The Gaimerz knows what he's talking about. Because I do. Thanks for watching. Very interesting ATV review tonight. And I will probably stream it tomorrow, guys. I love you, and I will see you on the next stream or the next vid. Peace out, guys.